Hello, Mary. In the material on which this video coming up was based, the words fluid or water or something like that was used a great deal. But when I went to make the video, the word that came out was superfluid or superfluidity. So I thought I'd just keep it the way it was and tack this on at the beginning. Okay. Hello, Mary. The other day I heard something that caught my attention, or my attention caught it. And it has to do with space. That for a long time, and the term is still being used, space was described as a vacuum because there wasn't any air there. There's no air there. But at the same time, nature abhors a vacuum. Think about it, it doesn't really make sense. But then it is acceded that there are energies passing through that vacuum, light, for instance, electromagnetism, gravity, and so forth. And the more scientists studied this vacuum of space, the less it is a vacuum. It's not a vacuum, and it's not a void. It's not this empty, it is not emptiness. It's filled with energy. You can't see it with the eye, but that doesn't mean anything. So what is this? All these energies and whatnot that that are there and that we do not see with the eye. What is all that? The point is that everything exists in a kind of a superfluid state. That the universe is a kind of superfluidity. And if you know anything about superfluids, there's no resistance there, and the properties change quite a bit. So the universe is superfluidity. That would be a better word to use than vacuum or void or nothingness and those kinds of terms. Superfluidity. And a number of scientists and philosophers have spoken to this. Einstein talked about how everything exists in fields of resonance. What does that do with space? And you had others in the past. Tesla on the other side of a conceptual fence that's being constructed these days unnecessarily. Spoke of everything in terms of electromagnetism, that this universe, this incredible variety, is all generated out of electromagnetism, manifested. So where is there a void? There isn't one. And on into modern time, more up to date, you have people like Rupert Sheldrake, who speaks of morphic fields or morphic resonance, and everything is shaped and moved by that. And it is not separate. There's not anything that's separate. So this superfluidity, when I first heard the word and the explanation behind it, two thoughts came to mind. One of them was something somebody had said, I don't remember who, that what is misery? What is suffering? And he described it as a fish in the ocean dying of thirst. Okay. Someone who is so miserable and suffering in a state of ignorance is indeed like a fish in the ocean dying of thirst. The other that came to mind was the image of Shiva sitting in his cave, and above him is the Milky Way, and the Milky Way represents the universe. And Ganga sends down a stream from that, and it hits Shiva on the head, and his dreadlocks soak up the waters, the milky waters, and he runs on down his body and onto the cave floor, and then out and to form the river Ganges, which blesses the earth, brings life to the earth. And then there's meditation techniques that have their origins in Sakya philosophy that doesn't deal with deities. That you come into that inner silence, and the more that silence is gained, the more the energies of the universe come in, and it was illustrated as coming in through the top chakra and filling the body. So it is really such a dual event. It can be taken that way, but upon close examination, that duality will disappear. For as apparently, as we come into that still, silent state, we come more to that superfluidity. And the more this is so, the more naturally the body is going to be filled with it. Now it can be experienced as energy coming in, filling, but that's just the way the human body works, and that's how it works in the relative field. But as to the absolute, we are also that superfluid state. We're not separate from it. How can we be? So, we sit in silence, and that's all that's needed. And we come into that consciousness that is unbounded, silent, still, undisturbed superfluidity. It's an interesting thought, a different perspective on things. Perhaps you'll find it useful. Okay, that's all for now.